Now it is.
Okay, it's on now. Hi, I'm Carson, otherwise known as M.2K, and this is Cody.
And we're just going to be doing some random ramblings.
This should be fun.
Yes, it should.
Okay, so I guess. So, do you have anything particular to talk about, or do you want?
Not really. Let's just talk about what's been happening in the world recently.
That's not a bad thing to do. So, now for anyone who doesn't know me, I get most of my information from Reddit as opposed to a newspaper or a news website, because those can just be terribly, terribly biased in either way, and just it's a load of bad. As opposed to Reddit, which is awesome because,
well, everything happens in real time.
Exactly. And usually I find something interesting.
Yeah, we'll see if we find something interesting to talk about right now.
Of course we will. I mean, this is the internet. There's always going to be something interesting. Now, traumatizing or not is totally irrelevant, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Well, that's just... Okay, so I guess something I'm going to briefly bring up here is when I am on things such as Reddit, which I just realized that since this is on my computer, it's a bit hard to link to, but just imagine, we'll link to this in the description, but one of my personal favorite sections in Reddit is r/Murica. Now, this is basically one of those joking, hyper-patriotic American sections, and I have seen some of the most interesting stuff. Like what I'm going to look at now is we see some guy in his truck, and he has placed a giant American flag on the top of his truck. And this is just one of those things where it's a hyper-patriotic, funny sort of thing, because... And this will be like...
It's funny because it's what no one really believes.
Yeah, it's one of those like overinflated stereotypes that is just... Yeah. We'll link to this, and when you see like the banner of the Reddit forum, you will understand why this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But I mean, personally, I use sites like Reddit for actually researching stuff, but unfortunately, most of the stuff I'm actually subscribed to isn't really legitimate news or anything interesting, although...
Well, here's a bit of legitimate news.
What's going on?
Machete attack at the New Orleans airport.
That's something original.
Yeah.
It looks like the person's not around anymore from the headlines.
Yeah. Let's go to the live coverage section. Died in the hospital. He was 63 years old and carrying 6 machetes.
I'm imagining a regular-sized machete. Those things are big already. How are you carrying 6?
Oh, no. 6 homemade explosives.
Oh, okay. So he had 6 homemade explosives. Why does the titles look like he's wielding 4 machetes?
Whoa, I don't know. Oh, update number 4.
Oh, okay. That's what that says. I was about to say, it's like, did he have was he holding 2 machetes in each hand, like double-bladed sort of thing, and then just taking the explosives and then hitting them with the machete like a bat? But no, that's not what was happening. Hopefully.
Yeah. Apparently, he sprayed TSA agents with wasp spray.
What? Does that have the same effect as bear spray, or
No, it's a pesticide. It's not a super strong version of pepper spray.
Okay, and I guess I'm assuming that as long as you didn't just, you know, ingest like any significant portion of the can, they're probably okay. Or they've probably been taken to the hospital for like
They were probably taken in and treated for that.
yeah, for just basic detox or whatever, detoxification.
And apparently he was mentally ill.
Yeah, okay, you don't really I kind of assumed that because
Yeah.
something I've learned when it comes to scenarios like these, that whoever it is who is carrying out the crime, it's learned that, oh, this person was also mentally ill by some manner. So that's just something I always assume, because it's like you don't see any normal, totally healthy person just waltz into a public area with the intent of blowing it up.
No.
I mean, they're either entirely susceptible to some other fanatic, which is even worse, or yeah, just like we said, there's the one individual who is not so well, and
Yeah.
never a good thing, but sometimes it's the best you can deal with. I mean, it's the best thing you can have at times.
So, on to a happier subject.
Yeah, okay, let's move on to something better.
There was a monorail car that was sold by Disney on eBay about 20 years ago now. Well, 15 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on eBay again.
I love eBay because you can sell pretty much anything on eBay. And, people often complain about eBay because of, like, the pricing, and sometimes the dealers are shady, this is awesome because it's just like, hey, you want a locomotive? Here, how much money are they selling for? Do you know?
$169,000.
Okay.
And it has yet to receive any bids, according to the article.
Okay, so I guess if anyone out there has copious sums of money and they really want a train, they should go for it.
Yeah, no bids.
Yeah,
It's got 41 hours left.
So, yeah, if you hear this within about the next day and a half or so, and you really want a monorail, Mark IV.
Mark IV is the original monorails for the Walt Disney World system.
And, you have $169,000.
Go ahead and place that first bid.
Yeah, you will get it. I mean,
well, if you have 260, you can buy it now.
Yeah, but I mean,
and then you're guaranteed to get it.
Yeah, but there's also a good chance that you could probably spend way less money on it, because I don't think the market for people who are buying trains is very high at the moment.
You'd be surprised. But this particular type of train, no.
Okay, yeah, but, let me amend that too. The market for people who are buying ex-Disney World trains is
that
pretty
happened
low.
to just be the first car. The rest of the train was scrapped.
The rest of the train was scrapped, most likely to be reused as other trains or something else at least.
Cut up and recycled.
Yeah, cut up and recycled into something else. So I mean, if you want that, there you go. And hey, if you're really lucky, maybe you can talk to Walt Disney and get that old water park of theirs that's falling apart too. I mean,
yeah, probably not.
Probably not, no. Although, what was the name of that old park? Do you know?
Splashdown. River Country.
Yeah, River Country. That was it.
Yeah, there have been some interesting theories to crop up about that, but I think I know exactly why Disney closed it.
Yeah, I thought I
They've
heard.
got 2 new parks away from Bay Lake.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that they actually found some sort of like, and this came from the internet, some horror video I saw once, and it's probably not true. Although I looked up the rest of the facts and they were pretty accurate, or at least for the most part. Like there was some like flesh-eating bacteria in the water surrounding the park or something like that. Which
Well, I've been touching that water, and I still have my fingers.
yeah, okay, so I
Yeah, I've been to Disney World. I've been on Bay Lake in one of the water taxis, and I was able to get my arm down low enough to touch the water.
okay, but you didn't go into the abandoned park.
No,
Okay.
I wasn't even aware there was an abandoned park at the time.
Oh. Okay, I was about to
Although
say.
I did see the wall, and I thought it was a new park going in, though.
Oh, yeah, no, that's an abandoned horror show, pretty much. And apparently, if you go in there, you can still find some snakes preserved in jars.
Yeah, and that was part of the exhibits that were available there.
Yeah, I have to say, for all the stuff that Disney does when it comes to being magical, they have a very big problem with like taking out the stuff they're not using anymore, so it doesn't appear as creepy as all get out.
Mhm.
I mean, except when it's in the like parks they're still using, then they're very quick to tear it down. But
True, but what incentive do they have to remove it from their own private property when they don't have a use for that property?
that's true, I guess. I mean,
The only time they're actually going to take it down is when it's no longer viable to leave it up, as in no longer environmentally responsible.
okay, yeah, that's probably true. So, but hey, maybe Disney will sell the land to you and you can have an abandoned park with potentially brain-eating bacteria to roam your one-car train around. Even though I'm pretty sure it doesn't have the track necessary for the train, so you're going to need some horses.
Yeah, you're going to need to modify the car also because the wheels are within the car shell.
Yeah, okay, so you're going to need to modify the car, and you're going to need, like, how many horses would you need to pull a car like that?
At least a dozen.
Okay, so the extra 12 horses, that's another investment. But
well, they're also going to be automating their existing monorail system.
oh, really?
Yeah. They have signed a contract with a firm that will automate it for them. And the monorail operators, they're called pilots right now, they will be there only to open the doors and hit the emergency brake button
Okay, well,
in the event of an absolute emergency.
huh. All right, well, automating stuff can't go wrong too badly, can you?
Especially since this was in response to a wreck they had
Yeah.
back in 2010, I want to say.
Okay, what happened?
Monorail Pink backed into Monorail Purple.
Ah,
Yeah, the pilot of Monorail Purple did not survive the impact.
that sucks.
Yeah. They already had a signaling system that would have stopped that from happening in place.
Mhm.
But at the close of the park, in order to get the monorails off the beams and into the maintenance building,
They had to turn off the system.
in order to back up through the switch just beyond the station that Purple was in.
Oh, bummers. Yeah. Well,
Part of the automation is they're reversing the direction of all the beams.
okay, and what would this automation ultimately do then? It would just allow for fewer crew members, basically, or?
No, you'll still have all the same crew on board. It'll just make it so that no matter what, the train won't ram into the other one.
Okay, so
And by reversing the flow of the traffic, they can ensure that they don't have to go backwards at the end of the day.
okay, so wait, so this is a Disney park or something you said, or?
This is the Disney World monorail.
Okay, so Disney World is automating its system so that they cannot have the problem that they only had because they took down half the system in order to automate it?
No, they only had the problem because they had to disengage the safety systems to get the monorails into the maintenance building every night.
Oh, okay, cool. I thought I misheard you for a minute and thought they disengaged the safety system because they had to take the monorails off in order to automate them so that they didn't have to use the safety system. So that they wouldn't back
that'd
up.
be a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute, wait. So, okay, but never mind, that makes a lot more sense, and I can see why Disney's doing that.
They're going to keep the same trains as far as I know, but they are getting up there in years, so they're 25 years old.
Okay. Well, they'll have to replace them eventually. I mean,
yeah, they're well maintained, but
well, nothing lasts forever.
Yeah. And they've got two brand new end cabs on monorail Coral.
Okay, well, I guess as long as they keep
They're not
going to
use pink and purple anymore.
Yeah.
The remnants of the two trains were merged into teal.
Okay.
And the center cars that from the undamaged halves were used in monorail Coral.
Okay.
Which needed new cabs.
Okay, so all right. Well, that's good once you get past the pilot.
Yeah.
Itself, but so
he died doing what he was loving.
Yeah, that's good. I mean,
he had his dream job.
That's good. Although, do you know how Disney takes care of things like that? Because I imagine they want to get it swept under the rug as quickly as possible.
This one they couldn't.
Okay, because I just whoa, almost fell backward. Because I imagine, as a place that advertises itself as the most magical and fun place on Earth, as Disney does, because look at their market, when you find out, oh, your employee has been crushed by a rotating wall. That was another thing I heard from the aforementioned video a little while back.
Yeah.
And then, oh, another employee died when two of your trains smashed into each other. I imagine they want to get this stuff, resolved.
You'd be surprised how many people have died in Disney parks.
Yeah, well, that's because people don't know this. And Disney Park makes it very clear they don't want people to know this, but those parks are not very safe.
Well, they are very safe for the on a per person basis, per guest.
Okay, well,
they have a cap of something like 12,000 guests in the Magic Kingdom Park at Disney World, and on a normal day they have maybe 8,000.
Okay, huh.
On the 4th of July, they will shut down the gates to let people in because they're full.
Okay, then. So, as a general rule, it's safe, but every once in a while,
Every once in a while, someone has a heart attack on one of the rides.
Oh, well, that's hardly the ride's fault, though. That's
sometimes it has been.
Yeah, that's true, but
Too intense.
Yeah, that's true, but generally, I think if people, well, I don't know how to respond to that, but oh well.
And then there's practically every theme park has had deaths inside the park.
Well, yeah, because they're theme parks. That's what happens. I mean, it's a theme park. No theme park is complete without some horror or tragedy. I mean, that's just kind of a general rule.
Yeah. The world's fastest roller coaster, the tallest roller coaster, the King de Cod.
Where is that? That sounds like
it's I want to say in New Jersey.
No, I didn't know we had the tallest roller coaster. I thought, like all the other major record-holding anythings, it would be in the Emirates or something like that.
No, not this one.
Okay.
But in this case, there was a kid riding the coaster,
Uh-huh.
and there just happened to be a bird flying by.
Oh. I'm going to
It's-
imagine it ended poorly for both the kid and the bird.
Yeah, it's the fastest roller coaster in the country as well.
Yeah, okay, so that ended very poorly for both of them.
Yeah. I'm not sure if the family was aboard the train or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Although, I mean, like, I feel, though, for Disney, like, in an accident such as that, like, Disney would be less accused. Like, okay, let's take the kid plus bird. Like,
Yeah,
Disney
that was
can't be held
Six
responsible
Flags.
for that. Or, I mean, and let's go with amusement park. Sorry, let's say kid plus bird event at Six Flags. Like, Six Flags can't be held accountable for that. Like, you can't sue.
Yeah, you can't defend against a bird on a roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, but you can't like sue anyone for why did you let this bird get into the roller coaster? Because it's an outdoor roller coaster and we can't control the patterns of aviation migration? Like, there's no argument to be made there. But then I think for
I'm pretty sure
Things-
they did compensate the family.
yeah. Well, I mean, but that was probably more out of a we're nice people, or at least
We're
as
nice people. We are not claiming responsibility, but we are going
Yeah.
to make you so your suffering is less.
Yes. Yeah. And then take
Well,
that.
feel
and
free
versus-
to come to any of our other parks anytime you want.
I don't think that's ever going to happen, but yeah, I mean that's probably true. But then I think, in the case of say, the guy who the last thing he saw was a giant pink train headed towards him,
Sounding the horn and trying to back his own train up to save
Yeah.
the passengers aboard.
yeah, I am versus that though. I think in that case the amusement park would be held at
Wholly responsible. In
Yeah,
fact,
wholly
OSHA did hold Disney responsible for that one.
okay, yeah, and I imagine like they have to have different methods of reacting there, because in one instance you have something that's totally beyond your control, and then in another instance you have something that you could have avoided had you been paying better attention.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. Huh.
What?
Well, we're gonna move on to something more pleasant, but it's still transportation related. It says Paris here, from what I can tell, is planning on cutting the number of cars on its roads in half beginning Monday. Huh.
How?
That's what I want to find out.
Pause.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Sorry, advertisement. Blah, blah, blah. Paris will cut the and is making public transit free to combat the spike in pollution that has obscured the Eiffel Tower. Okay, I see what they're doing. So apparently Paris is attempting to cut back the number of cars on its road. Like, I guess they're basically going to call a bunch of people and say, hey, the thing that we give out, like the little sticker you put on your license plate that allows you to drive? Yeah, that doesn't work anymore. You can't drive. Like, oh, no, I actually saw this. I know what they're doing. I think they've got basically like a variety of colors or something like that they started handing out a few years ago. And it's going to be like, okay, on Monday and Wednesday, cars yellow and blue can drive. And then, see what I did there? And then on Tuesday and Thursday, red and orange can drive, and so on and so forth. And I think they're making public transit free. And
Which that's going to raise their subsidy quite a bit.
yeah.
Because if I remember right, Paris Metro has a fare box recovery of 60%.
Oh, boy.
Meaning, take your existing money that the city or the country is paying Paris Metro to keep services running,
Yeah, and then
multiply it by 2.5.
okay, so yeah, I think what's going to happen here is the buses are going to be free, but then someone is going to notice the innocuous, tiny, but still very much there, bus tax at the end of their tax list. Like,
I would guess it's probably going to come out of the general fund.
okay. Then
which is
Yeah.
normally sales tax and property tax and stuff
That's
like that.
true. Yeah. Isn't that how Bozeman takes care of the?
Streamlines are offered through a combination of MSU fees,
Yeah.
and the city does kick in some general money.
Okay, that's what I thought because I knew. Okay, for those of you who don't know, we're in a city called Bozeman. It's several thousand people. Good luck finding us. But
It's also got one of the best academic universities in the United States.
Yes, it's just that it's not going to be on any top list because it has state in the name.
Yeah.
Which, if you were to, I actually learned very recently, if you were to look up basically the best universities, but basically had all the state-based universities, you would find that I think the 8 out of the top 10 are state universities or something. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
those
the
aren't
Ivy
included
League.
because
The Ivy League gets all the big press because that's where all the press comes from.
Yeah. Ivy League is considered prestigious, but the real reason for that is apparently it's sports related or something. It has nothing to do
true.
with academics. Although, this is something that bothers me about the college system, is that so much of it is anchored in sports, way more than it should be, I think.
That is one of the big problems with a lot of the state universities as well.
Yeah.
Like here,
Yeah, well, I mean, just college in general. I mean, not just the Ivy Leagues, but
true. Here at MSU, the biggest events are the sporting events,
yeah.
and they turn a profit.
Mhm. Mhm.
The university and the state doesn't pay a dime into the sporting programs.
No. Yeah. I think.
In fact, they get a surplus from them.
Of course they do.
So where are our athletic fees and such going?
Right back to the government.
No,
Where are they going? Wait.
into the general fund for the school.
Okay. And then the school comps this by overfunding the athletics departments, pretty much.
They're not overfunded at all. They're not funded at all. They cover their own expenses.
Oh, all right. Oh, yeah, that's true because they basically, yeah, you're right. They operate on a separate system from the rest of the university. But as a result of this, I think the university puts too much of its media attention on certain sports aspects instead of,
Yeah,
here's
football.
a college. Yeah, football. Well, football's just, I am not a fan of football. I think it's just one of the worst sports in general. I mean, I'm not a big fan of any sport really, although basketball is fine. Although I have to say, if you're watching a sport versus playing a sport,
It's a big difference.
yeah. Well, I like to watch basketball and play it at the same time. And football, I will watch for a little bit, but that's really only just to talk to people during the Super Bowl because during the Super Bowl, the majority of people don't actually watch the game. They talk with their friends or
And then watch the commercials.
Yeah, and then watch the commercials
The
because
one and only time that happens.
yeah, the one and only time that happens. I don't know what the statistic was, but I think in 2005, 7%. I think it was 10% of people were reporting that they were only watching the Super Bowl for the commercials or something. I think it's risen since then.
Oh, I'm sure it has.
But anyway, yeah.
Another subject real quick. There was a poll conducted amongst children about clowns. 200 children were polled.
Oh,
How many said they liked clowns?
Okay, knowing the main causes of childhood trauma, and this isn't an actual study, but I'm imagining it probably would have some statistical value. I'm guessing less than a third.
None.
Oh, okay. So
They all reported they were either scared or didn't like the clowns.
oh god. Well, yeah. I am surprised that clowns remain around as long as they do. Although I think the majority of clowns these days are the people that you see in things such as the Cirque du Soleil type of things.
Yeah.
And that's not for children. My parents would always drag me there when I was a kid, and number one, I distinctively remember Number one, it smelled bad to me. Number one, like they use a very distinct scent to like sort of invigorate the performance or whatever. Number one, for me, it always just smelled bad. So already I'm going in there and I can't breathe. So of course, so this is just starting off pleasantly. And then the people, I'm convinced that they were talking in like 12 different languages. Like they were constantly switching between language. So yeah, it smelled bad and I couldn't see and I didn't know what they were doing half the time. And half the outfits they wore just were like, okay, well, this is traumatizing.
How old were you at the time?
I was like, I know I was in elementary school.
Oh, jeez.
I think I was in like the first to like third grade whenever they tried to do this to me. Because I remember I only went to like 1 or 2. I think I may have gone to 3. But I just remember all of them. It's like, okay.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, get me out of here as quickly as you can. And, I remember, and I distinctively remember this. I was a very quiet kid, and I never threw temper tantrums or anything. And I remember, like, after the second one we went to, I distinctively remember, because this is something they do in the Cirque du Soleil, and people who like it, that's totally awesome, but just understand that I will never go to those things. But something that they will do is they will basically take people in the first row, and they will have them, like, they will pull them out and just have them, like, be part of the act for, like, a few minutes or something. And I distinctively remember we were walking out of there. It was the end of the show. We were walking out of there, and my dad made some comment about, oh, next year we're going to sit in the front. And my parents have always told me that was the biggest temper tantrum I ever threw. Like, I was so scared and mad. And at this point, like, my dad never brought it up again. My dad just never brought it up again. I think, that was the last time they ever took me to one of those, which was fine by me because, those were traumatizing. But anyway, so, yeah, I mean, they're considered to be a very, like, cultural thing. And, if I went to one today, I would probably appreciate it more and I would probably get some general idea of what was going on. But, there would have to be a large incentive for me to go.
Yeah.
Someone would have to give me a very considerable incentive to want to actually go to these things. But yeah, so that's my opinion, and that's also why I don't like clowns. And
I'm just checking the weather nationwide real quick. Looks like Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana are getting hit hard tonight.
Huh. And we're getting nothing. Although we're still getting more than Nevada.
Yeah, we're getting much more than Nevada.
And Utah. And Colorado.
And a whole lot more than Arizona. Arizona's showing nothing but ground scatter radar.
Oh, wow. Which
are birds and bees and such. The ground-based radar can pick up.
Nice. I look at things like this and I think, I'm glad we have this because I can know what's going on in other states in just ways that 50 years ago would have been impossible.
If you live about 50 miles north of Lake Pontchartrain, you better get into a storm shelter right now.
Yeah, so
there's a supercell moving through.
Oh, well, no.
Meaning possible tornadoes.
Possible tornadoes. Oh boy. So I'm trying to think. Oh God, where were we? So talking about how Cirque du Soleil traumatized me as a kid. Talking about the weather. This is really bad, but I can't remember what we were talking about. So I'm sorry if you really wanted us to get back to that, but I don't remember what it was.
It was Paris and the cars and such.
Oh yeah, there was Paris, the cars, and I think.
Oh, interesting thing from the federal DOT that they're not even acknowledging. It's from their own data.
Huh.
Vehicle miles per capita are going down in the United States. They peaked in 2003.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me about this earlier. By the way, if you're wondering, we've been friends for a couple of years now. This is not the first time we've talked, although look at any of his previous videos, and also look at Montana Gaming Company, I believe is the name of the channel. Well, look there, we have been friends for a while. But anyway, oh god, yeah, that's right. You were telling me about that, and apparently
it's showing more inclination amongst the younger people to be in a location where they don't have to have a car.
Yeah. Although I think that's just because everyone's saying, hey, we're currently at war with several countries right now over this resource, oil, that is not getting cheaper despite the fact that we have bombed these countries into near oblivion. Maybe we should change something internally instead. Which I think is clearly the smart option.
Yeah, that's part of it.
And the second part, didn't you say it had to do with the highway system basically being, basically everyone realizing, oh, this international highway system is a giant waste of money and totally not profitable.
That's part of it. Another part is the infrastructure to support the car is crumbling around us.
Well, yeah, look at Detroit.
Well, Detroit's an even more special case.
Yeah, that's true. I feel bad for Detroit because I've seen documentaries on it, and you have whole neighborhoods where there's just one person living there, and that's only because they refuse to move out due to sentiment, and they have to pump their water from a nearby spring because the plumbing doesn't work anymore, and they have to light their house via candle because they've got no more electricity, and it's how are you still able to live here? This should not be possible.
One of the things that you and I have both thought about doing is just going in with the money we have and buying up whole towns.
Yeah. No, that's quite literally something I've been seriously thinking about. And, if I didn't have to fly out to Detroit once a year to inspect the property and make sure, no, gangs from those post-apocalyptic movies that you see, roving gangs had set up bases there, I would totally do it. But unfortunately, if I did, I would basically have to take all of any break I ever got to drive out. Or essentially, this is what would happen. I've got basically 2 years left in college, and I would essentially have to take both of those spring breaks to fly to Detroit to look at some large fields to make sure that there were not gangs living there, and then find something else to do in Detroit, which is not an easy task.
Yeah, and we would most certainly be demolishing every building on our property.
Yeah, exactly. And then, into the rest of my life, until the Detroit market picked up again, what I would have to do is I would have to go to any boss I will have, or if things work out my way, I'll have my own company, but it would still be a tremendous headache. I will have to basically go to my equals or my boss or whatever and say, hey, I'm sorry, but that I know I'm an important part, but I basically need to take a week to not be available while I fly to Detroit. I'm really sorry about this. I don't think that would go over too well for a lot of people. But I mean, if I didn't have to do that, yeah, I would just take $1,000, buy 1,000 lots or 1,500 lots or whatever, because that is happening right now, and just be well, I'm gonna wait for the market to pick up again and sell these houses for
a profit, hopefully.
Yeah, for
if you're not making a profit on that level of housing.
If you're not making a profit on that level, well, number one, you've only lost $1,000. It's not that much of a big deal. And then number two, you've still got the land, and you can just go talk to the city, repurpose it, and build a farm there or something. I mean, hell, it would be better than what's there right now with the abandoned neighborhood and the packs of wild dogs that roam the area. It would still be better.
Yeah, and I'm just quickly checking the status of every Amtrak train nationwide. There were two that caught my interest. One is the southbound Crescent, originated at New York yesterday. It's due in New Orleans. Well, it was due about a half hour ago. Yeah, it hasn't made it there yet. It's about an hour away.
Huh.
Yeah. It looks like it ran into some trouble in North Carolina. And then there's the Silver Star that originated in Miami yesterday. It started out 3 hours late. It's currently running 5 hours and 33 minutes late.
Ah, fun.
But it should be able to make up a good amount of time on the Northeast Corridor
Okay.
because it doesn't have to stop unless there's someone that needs to get off.
Well, it's
They
something.
don't have anyone getting on.
Nice. Oh, nice. Unfortunately, this opens the opportunity for that one passenger who's like, "Oh, I need to get off here," and it would just be one passenger. But then,
Well, open the door, shove them out, and get going again.
of course, this is when they would like fall down the stairs or something, and then break a leg, and then just
Single level, high level platforms. So
Yeah.
it's level boarding.
okay, good. Never mind then. But this would just be like the opportunity for some
Idiot.
Yeah, some idiot to do something, and then just it would be bad. It would be very bad.
So I think we're just about done for today.
Yeah, I think we are. How long have we been talking for?
About 40 minutes or so.
All right, I think for a good test run, it's not a bad idea. Next time, mention something in.
Mention
wanna do
something
this
in the
again?
comments,
Yeah,
and we'll see if we can get to it next week.
yeah, I'm sure we'll have other things. And do you want to do this again? This would be fun.
I think so.
Okay, cool. Then
Shall we set Saturday at 7 Mountain Time?
yeah, that sounds about fair. Okay, then we will see you next time, and I have no idea what we'll talk about. Bye.
Bye.